What's good, party people? This is According to Woods. I'm According to Woods. And to my, I guess, right, as you're viewing this, is former U of MMA champion Pius Inalalogo, better known as Voodoo Maximus. And we're going to review this UFC Vegas card that's headlined by Ryan Spann and one Anthony Lionheart Smith,
Yep,
former
yep.
UFC light heavyweight title contender against John Jones, who supposedly figured out John Jones, but fucking got it mollywopped. So that's the headline.
Hey, but
Uh,
but but we have to recognize he did something that was admirable. He was hit with a an illegal shot, but he chose to continue. He could have become champion in that moment. He could have done the Aljamain Sterling, but he chose not to. So we must always remember this admirable moment.
yeah, Takea, glad to have you back, bro. So the thing about Anthony Lionheart Smith, and it got put into perspective. Not just the John Jones fight, but the fight that he had after, right? Where he got beat within the inch of his life and his coaches didn't stop him, right? Well,
Glover Teixeira.
that comes into right. That comes into play because of what happened over the weekend in Canada with that 18-year-old Mexican boxer, female. The commission didn't do shit,
Right,
right?
right,
The ref didn't do shit.
right.
Her trainer, who's also her husband and cornerman, didn't do shit. And and yes, I don't know the biochemistry of it. She could have
Mm,
taken way too many hits in training, in the fight, hydration, weight cut, whatever.
mm-hmm,
There's a litany of things that could have gone on. But what
mm-hmm.
I do know is she's unfortunately not here. Her and her
Yes,
husband have no life, at least
yes,
on this plane. And you know
yes,
what's
yes.
crazy to me? Do you remember a couple years ago there was a UFC fighter,
Mm-hmm.
former UFC MMA fighter,
Right.
that took up boxing that had been KO'd 12 times in his last 12 fights, and he went up to Canada to have a heavyweight boxing fight, and he died.
Mm,
Now I don't know what part of Canada, whether that was Calgary, Halifax, Moose Jaw, Toronto.
mm-hmm.
I don't know, right?
Yeah. I
I
totally
really
understand. I totally understand.
Saskatchewan. I don't know
I
whether that
totally
would be
understand what
mainland.
you're saying. I totally understand what you're saying.
Right. It
But
doesn't
but
like it kind of doesn't matter because
yeah,
two
exactly.
people have died in the
Yeah.
last 3 years, traumatic brain injury,
Right,
and
right,
that's a
right,
problem. And
right,
that's why I kind of fear for Anthony Lionheart Smith, who
right,
was pegged as one of the heir apparents to maybe John Jones, right?
right, 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 right.
One of the best light heavyweights there was before he even came to the UFC, but
True.
also a bit of a journeyman, right?
Right,
Don't
right.
think he's won any titles, got a record and all that shit, but
Mm-hmm.
he's also doing shit with ESPN as a
Right,
commentator. And
right,
all of those
right.
guys and girls that are commentating and fighting or analyzing and
Mm-hmm.
fighting, I
Mm-hmm.
fear for them
Mm-hmm.
because your cognitive ability is put in full display on
True,
live TV
true,
for millions to
true.
see.
That true. Very true. Everything you said is absolutely correct and true. But one fact remains that we must understand. When these people sign up to be fighters, there's a certain level of repercussion that they're willing to withstand, even to death. They go in there understanding this. This is what sets people apart. You know what I mean? This is the fighter. The fighter, when he goes in there, is ready for death. This is why they sign up for it. It's a fact. You know what I mean? So they understand what they're doing. That 18-year-old girl understood that this is a possibility. Fighting in the cage, fighting in the square circle. These are possibilities, but we must move on. We must move on beyond that fear of death. We must be focused if we are to thrive in this environment, in this square circle, in this octagon. It's life and death. In that moment, while you're in there, it's life and death. Every fighter already understands this when it's signed that contract for that fight. It is understood. It is understood. This is combat. This is what we do. This is who we are. It's like a soldier.
Yeah.
A soldier that goes to battle is ready for death. This is a fact. There's a certain danger factor that's in all these things that we don't really focus on, but it's a fact. It's a fact. These people understand what they're doing. A fireman understands a level of danger in his job. A police officer understands there's a level of danger in his or her job. These people are warriors in their own sense. You understand? They understand death is a possibility. They understand that. They must move on and do the job anyway. This is their chosen profession. And we as human beings have to let them do what they want to do. They want to be warriors, so be it. I will cheer them on.
Yeah, Don McGuire's fucking punk ass try to come on. Boo. Hater. Speaking of on like in other news, and I hate to harp on this fucking CTE shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we just had Shannon Sproul, the former Daphne Unger from WCW, right?
Right.
And she unfortunately committed suicide. Now she is somebody that has been pretty vocal about her concussions during her time at Impact Wrestling and was in litigation against them to cover her medical bills.
True.
Right?
True.
So, with that all being said, that's it. I don't know if you guys have heard, Stephan Bonner, less than a week ago, was kicked out of a hospital because he said he had compressed something in his neck or his back or anything like that, right?
From doing pro wrestling.
And he was trying to whatever, and then he got paranoid. And even Mark Coleman was like, hey, brother, get help. Diego Sanchez was like, fucker, call me. If, again, fucking Mark Coleman, whose substance abuse is pretty fucking documented, right?
Okay, true. Now,
that's something. And I applaud you, Mark Coleman, for your recovery, right?
Mm-hmm.
Diego Sanchez, who just booked a BKFC fight with Isaac Valley Flog.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But it is what it is, right? So even if you come out of it, there's a potential for suicide. There's a potential for erratic behavior, PTSD, right? So I just want the best for everyone here, and I think we should get into the first fight. And
wait, one more thing.
And Takeo Paul, he says that's right. And Mary Kay Woods.
One more thing.
Don't respond to nonsense.
We move into the realm. We move into the realm of professional wrestling, right? The same thing applies here too. These people understand there is a certain level of danger in this sport. We have seen Owen Hart. We have seen the luchador in Tijuana, Mexico. These people understand the danger here, but this is their calling. They must live that life, even though there's such a high demand and reward factor in this It is a field. They understand the danger. They're willing to take that bet.
Yeah. Yes, and Takeo Powell says that's right. Mary says don't respond to Don McGuire. I blocked him. It's cool. And then if Alex Ramirez, point taken, if Diego Sanchez is reaching out to you to seek help, you know you're doing bad.
Okay.
And I don't want that
True.
to be Anthony Smith. I don't want
Okay.
it to be any of these guys and girls competing in any organization, pro wrestling or otherwise, MMA otherwise, K1
Mm-hmm.
otherwise. Let
Mm-hmm.
them make their money and then let them hopefully remain as unscathed as possible
Mm-hmm.
to their next endeavor. Right?
Okay.
So,
But
speaking of the next
you got to
endeavor,
understand one thing too, man.
not worth
It's
it.
like it's like Rambo said. You can't just turn it off, bro. You just don't turn it off. It just doesn't turn off, man. These people are born and bred warriors. They have been living the life of a warrior savage for many, many years, training in the gym with slamming bones against opponents and partners in practice. This is all they know for that extended amount of time. And then now you just want to stop and then just move on to broadcasting. It's not that easy. The body has been programmed to be efficient in such a way that if you don't give it that, you become somewhat of a hyperactive child with nothing to do. You know what I'm saying? And this becomes destructive in the fighter. This is why they would rather continue fighting than to just stop. You understand what I'm saying? I get what you're saying. I understand CTE and all that stuff, but you also have to understand that the reason why they need to continue, it's not that they don't want to stop. It's hard to stop. The body
Good.
does it automatically. It seeks it. You know what I'm saying? And it controls their brain, I guess.
Right. And Alex Ramirez wants to know what went wrong with Stephan Bonner. Was it his ex-wife affair scandal? I don't know anything about
I don't know
this,
about that.
but 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 what I do know,
I didn't even
and
know he
I
had a
just found
wife.
out this morning because I saw Stefan on Mike Swick's podcast. Mike Quick Swick. Shout out to Mike Quick Swick, who's again one of these guys who kind of figured it out, started a
Mhm,
podcast for an outlet for fighters and everything like that. That's what I try to do to
mhm,
varying degrees of success, and I think that's what like podcasters should do or
mhm.
interviewers should do. Now, reporting is a whole different thing. You got to get scoops. But if you're an interviewer podcaster, you just want to get the stories out. That should be paramount.
Right,
And build a rapport for people to just come free flowing and not
right.
to antagonize them, not to expose them, you know, and not to make them feel unsafe. You
Right,
just
right.
let them tell their story. That's why I don't clip up my shows so there's no sound bites or whatever. It's just in its entirety, pure. Either you listen to the whole thing in parts, listen to the whole thing at one sitting, or that's it, you know?
Right.
But obviously, people say I'm not as popular as some people who make clips. And that's true. That's absolutely true. That happened with Rogan. Rogan wasn't doing too much, and look at everything people know him from UFC, comedy, news radio, Fear Factor, you know,
Right.
a Taekwondo, Jiu-Jitsu, Eddie Bravo, like all of that shit. And he had probably about the same amount, depending on the guests, of views that I have. Then he clipped it, hundreds of thousands,
Mm-hmm.
millions, and then the conversation of the
Mm-hmm.
people and the guests and everything like that. He will tell you he's surprised by all of the shit that he's gotten. So
Mm-hmm.
kudos to him. Kudos to Tom Green. Kudos to Adam Carolla. Kudos to Howard Stern. All these motherfuckers that were trying it. Hell, even
Mm-hmm.
Larry Elder was doing this shit. Rick Dees was
Mm-hmm.
doing this shit. He was here
Mm-hmm.
on the radio in LA for
Rick
Kiss
D's
FM in the
in the
morning, but he was
morning.
really broadcasting from Kentucky. He lived in
Oh,
Kentucky
interesting.
all this
Wow.
time. Bean from Kevin and Bean was
Right.
living in somewhere out of state, and then he
Mm-hmm.
finally moved to the UK,
Okay.
right?
All
This
right.
station in the box shit. So just
Mm-hmm.
do you get that shit? We don't have to worry about playing commercials unless you have sponsors,
Right.
right?
Right.
And then we don't have to worry about playing music over the
Right.
words,
Right.
you know?
Right.
So we have the freedom. So with that freedom, Voodoo, take us to the first fucking fight for Saturday.
Alrighty then. So we have in the 125-pound division, Emily Whitmere going in there against Hannah Goldie. So let's see what's up with Hannah Goldie. She's 5-2, 24 carat. It's very healthy looking, chiseled, muscular body. 29-year-old, 5'4", from Vermont, United States. Keene State College. Seems to be a wrestler. She lost the last fight against Diana Veldita in a unanimous decision. And prior to that, she lost to Miranda
Oh shit.
Granger.
You know what I just
Granger.
realized? It's
What'd you
not even
realize?
fucking Saturday. It's nine
When
days
is it?
away from now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
I
let's
just
do it
realized
anyway.
that. I looked
Let's
on
do it anyway. We're
Tapology
already doing it.
and
We're
it said
already doing
9
it.
days. Fuck it, we'll do it.
Yeah, let's do it anyway.
Oh wait. And Nate Wren, I'm sorry. Nate Wren said, "How are you feeling today?" I don't know. I really don't know, right? And then, oh, one fight that is happening
Hmm.
is Nate Wren says, "Do you think Belfort can beat Holyfield?" Okay, that is happening this weekend.
That's
We'll
right.
we'll probably cover this card later, 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 probably next week, closer. So let's scrap that,
Hmm.
right? And
Okay.
let's talk about Vitor Belfort, TRT Vitor, because have you seen him? He looks like a fucking demon. And then
Hey, man.
Holyfield.
Yeah.
Now, Holyfield is a boxer, a boxer's boxer. Started out in
Right.
the lightweight division, started out in the Olympics, right?
Right. Right.
And then fucking moved up to heavyweight and became a heavyweight champion.
Right.
He's one of the only fighters that have like, you know, I'm not the boxing historian like you are, Nate, right?
Yeah.
But
Right.
what I can say is he's won multiple titles in multiple weight classes during his prime in boxing.
Right. 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 And
So
one of
take it
few
away, Voodoo.
one Holyfield is one of few people who has beaten uh the legendary Mike Tyson. Holyfield, I remember him coming up. Actually, before MMA, boxing was the highest peak in professional sports when it comes to expressing the human body. Boxing was the peak, but then MMA showed up. But back in the days when I was growing up, Mike Tyson was running the scene. 19-year-old Mike Tyson doing his thing in the amateurs. 18, I mean, actually, he started like around 14 or 15 years old, something like that. He was young, but he had a man's body. He was 200 pounds or so at 14 or 15 years old. So he went in there and he tore everybody up. But at one point, he ran into Holyfield, and Holyfield had the perfect technique to dismantle uh, the impenetrable Mike Tyson. It was an epic battle, the first one, and then the second one had a lot of drama regarding the ear or whatever. But Belfort, not Belfort, uh, uh, Holyfield, he's been in there with some of the best fighters you've ever heard about. He's been in there with some of the best fighters you've ever heard about. You know what I'm saying? So he's coming back, 57 years old or something like that. He's shredded. He looks fantastic. I don't know what he's doing, but you know what I'm saying? He's looking really good for someone of that age. I mean, he has a body of a 35-year-old, but he's 57 or something like that. Going there in there against the quote unquote, I don't know, allegedly TRT Vitor. TRT Vitor. We all know who Vitor Belfort is. We're not even gonna. Vitor Belfort is a pioneer. The man is in his 40s and he's been in the UFC since 19. Remember when Vitor came on the scene, man? In the early days? So much hands. So much hands. Vitor brought that first shift and utilizing speed in the octagon, right? Up until that point, it would be a brawling session, not calculated. But Vitor, he came in and he changed the game. He was young, yoked as hell, heavyweight. Because back then, Mark Coleman was the man on the block, and Mark Coleman, he was massive, shredded. Kevin Randleman, wrestlers, massive, shredded. You know what I'm saying? So Vitor's like, if you guys are gonna be shredded, why don't I get shredded too? So whatever he did it. So he came into the UFC, started mopping folks up. I remember one epic battle against Wanderlei Silva back in the days. He marched him across the cage with ones and twos from one end to the other end, shutting him down, eventually knocking him out and winning the title in seconds. Up until that point, we had never seen anyone do that to Wanderlei Silva.
Okay.
So this is a level of competition that we're talking about right now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So what I got, right, and Takea says, who do you think is going to win out of Hannah?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Hannah Goldie?
Yeah.
Hannah
Goldie and Emily Withmere. I didn't even say anything about Withmere yet, huh? So let's finish this Holyfield thing, and then we'll go back to the card if you still want to. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just flowing right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So in terms of the main card, I mean the main event.
The main event. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. When I think of Vitor Belfort, I don't think about his boxing. Has he had KOs? Absolutely. Has he had submissions? Absolutely. Has he had slams? Absolutely. And a lot of that fucking arsenal, 2/3 of what I just said, is nil.
Mm-hmm.
Kicks, nil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Evander Holyfield's a boxer.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, still trains.
Yes.
From what I understand, still teaches boxing around the world.
Yeah.
He's not Roy Jones Jr., where Roy Jones Jr. is going to fucking Russia. But I don't know. Right. It could be. It could be. I can't. I know I saw that Rogan episode, but it's fuzzy. Everything's fuzzy to me right now. But yeah, this is somebody who's active in just boxing. I remember my dad, right? When I was fucking hardcore in the paint with pro wrestling, right? And he was like, do you want to be the guy who knows everything about one thing? Or a guy that knows a little bit about everything, right? And I said, I want to know everything about the one thing. And he was like, wrong. You want to be as cultured as possible, right? Now, that's Vitor Belfort. He's pretty cultured, right? Mm-hmm. But Evander Holyfield knows everything about the one fucking thing. And the one fucking thing is what kind of contest that they're going to be competing in for Triller Fight Club. For $50. The same price point for All Out. AEW's All Out. I paid for All Out. I probably won't pay for this one. Right. Honest to goodness. Because I don't there's nothing that appeals to me, man. I hope they make a lot of money, right? And if you're a fan of former President Trump or Donald Trump Jr., they will be in the house, here or there. I don't care one way or another. If you like it, it's for you. Tito Ortiz is there. So the former President Donald Trump and President Trump's son I don't know, first
Donald
son,
Jr.,
first whatever the fuck, right? I don't
whichever.
know the linguistics of it,
Right,
but
right.
he will be there. So I know Tito will be over the fucking moon, over the fucking moon, right? So good. And Tito, he might say a lot of crazy shit. He might do a lot of crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Every interaction that I've had with Tito Ortiz, he's
Mm-hmm.
treated me like a fucking long lost pal.
Right.
I've only had 3 interactions with him. They've all
Mm-hmm.
been stellar. Right?
Right, right,
Did I
right.
agree with everything that he does? No.
Mm-hmm.
Has he been on my podcast? No.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to fucking reach out there? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Okay. Don McGuire is harassing me, so I just want to screenshot that. And I'm also blocking again. This is somebody who comes on with multiple accounts because he's a keyboard warrior. Keyboard warrior. Harassing all my friends because he got butthurt of what I said. He said, we're replaceable. We're all replaceable. Well, I took offense, folks, because I just beat COVID. I just beat COVID. I had 12 near death experiences, 7 in the last week. Okay. Don McGuire, I don't think I'm speaking out of school because he posted publicly for all to see, but he's a double leg amputee. He is battling stage 3 cancer. He has photographed Invicta fights. He's interviewed top stars of the sport of MMA and pro wrestling. He's a legend of the sport. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying anything against it. These are all things that he's done. I'm not discrediting him at all, one iota. I don't think Don McGuire is replaceable. I don't think Voodoo Maximus is replaceable. I don't think my wife and kids are replaceable. I don't think Don McGuire's wife and kids are replaceable. I want all of you to be here. We don't have to agree. We don't have to coexist, right? But what I want is love. And yes, I was wrong to come on his page because he can post whatever he wants, right? But again, as somebody that beat death more times than I can count, don't tell me I'm replaceable. I work fucking hard. I'm not saying I work harder than you. No, not at all. But I work fucking hard to make a little bit of a positive impact on the people that I'm around and the people, that love me and I love them back. And even the people that hate me, like Don McGuire is so, fucking pointing, right? That's cool. That's cool. I wish Don McGuire nothing but the best. Peace, love, fight fucking cancer because you're not replaceable to cancer. Not to your folks, not to your family, not to your fight family, nothing. Okay? Remember that. But I will continue to block and delete him. I will continue to encourage people who he harasses because he has a long history of it, encourage them to block and delete him. And that's it. And the people that want to sit around the campfire and listen to his tales, kudos. He calls himself my mentor. When I was fucking trudging for the last 5 years, taking buses and trains to get to shows, paying my own fucking ticket, not knowing where my next meal was going to come from, not knowing if I'm going to be able to pay my rent, put gas in my car, pay for a bus pass. I paid for a show because I believed that it would mean something. He was in Missouri shooting Invicta. Kudos. Because if I was in Missouri, I'd be doing that too. Invicta is my fucking one of my favorite promotions. All female, they all kick ass. Right? I would do the same. If I had a chance to be around AJ and Antonio McKee and Kimbo Slice and Baby Slice, I'd take it. Just as Don McGuire has done. That's no harm, no foul. So I respectfully bid you adieu. You can continue to spew. I'm continuing to fucking sideswipe that shit. And that's it. So, with that all being said, yeah, dark days. I'm dark. And if that's a threat, I screenshot it and everyone here can see it. So if you try to put a hit on me, just saying. Okay? So, with that all being said, Fight Night Nation says Triller must have super deep pockets. I hear Trump is getting millions to be on commentary. I won't pay for it, but somebody must. And it's a funny thing. You bring up an interesting point because the Paul Woodley fight, Tyron Woodley and one of the Paul brothers, I saw a report it could be complete and utter hyperbole.
Mm-hmm.
But it is said that Tyron Woodley lost $5 million for that fight. Lost. Not gained. Lost.
How did he lose $5 million? On what grounds do
I
they
don't
make
know.
such a comment?
Hey, we know of some promotions, pretty reputable promotions, that elite level fighters have fought for, been champions of, that actually have the fighters pay to be on their cards. It's illegal, folks. It's illegal, but it happens. Are people getting plucked out of the crowds for beer to go fight because somebody missed weight? It's not illegal, but morally not a good look. But these things happen as a part of the sport we love. So, yeah, I agree with Fight Life Nation. And a great page. Great page. Go follow and subscribe to Fight Life Nation, as you should. Go follow Voodoo Maximus, as you should. Right? And yeah, I don't know, man. I don't want anybody to lose money in an endeavor,
No,
especially one
not
in
at all.
combat sports, especially when you're in the twilight of your career, which I don't think I'm speaking out of school, but both Vitor Belfort and Evander Holyfield must be. But I said that about Roy Jones Jr. And Mike Tyson. It wasn't a bad fucking fight, man.
This particular fight is going to be a scientific fight. Evander Holyfield is going to go in there. He's going to pick all the shots. He's going to block them all because it's going to be big gloves. Vitor is going to blow his swad by the 4th round. And then Evander Holyfield is going to beat him by the 7th round by knockout. Easy money. This is too easy for Evander. He's a former world champion. He's been in there with the heaviest of heavyweights. You know what I mean? He's been in there with Larry Holmes. He's been in there with George Foreman. I mean, these are legendary names in boxing. He's beaten the very best of them all. He's been in there with Lennox Lewis. You know, I mean, in my time of boxing, these were the giants. This was a time of the true heavyweight. Now, the heavyweights that you see are not of the same caliber. The skill levels are different. You know, our guys move different. I mean, Mike Tyson is from that era. Understand the devastation. You know what I'm saying? This new guys are cool. I mean, Tyson Fury, he doesn't knock anybody out, really. He doesn't really knock anyone out. Mike Tyson, hey, man, if you missed a Mike Tyson fight by 5 seconds, the fight could be over already. Back in my days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You go to the bathroom, you come right back, the fight's over, and you missed the whole thing. This was the Mike Tyson effect when I was growing up. But these guys these days, man, they're fighting 12 rounds and all that. You know, the skill level is different.
So I want to bring up some philosophical points, but before I do, Takea Powell says, "Okay, I see you, Voodoo, 100%. And Mary Kay Wood says, "It's okay, honey. Thank you, love. No need to respond to the kind of stuff. Praying for you, Don. No dark days ahead for anyone." I hope you're right. I hope you're right. But, like my family is littered with curses on the Fijian side. Might be on the Wood side too. So I don't fucking know. Right? So, but going back to Fight Life Nation's point, Triller must have super deep pockets. I hear Trump is getting millions to be on commentary. I won't pay for it, but somebody must, right? So philosophically, we're talking about a former head of state here in the United States as a former president. And it has been said and echoed. I don't know if it's true or not because I don't have claim to follow this president now, currently, the last president, and maybe even the one before it. I just kind of tune it all out, right? So, with that all being said, I heard from a pretty vocal, like, supporter group of former President Trump, and I'm not villainizing you. You guys believe what you believe. I'm not faulting you one iota. But that's, if you're born here in the States, that's kind of the beauty of it. Believe in everything, believe in nothing at all. Believe in money, believe in big pharma, education, no education, whatever. Right? So I heard from the Trump base that former President Trump was so wealthy, not rich, wealthy, he didn't take a single dollar paid to him by the United States government for him being president. Now, for those who don't know, at last time I checked, and it could have changed, but the president of the United States got the equivalent of $250,000 per year. That means at the end of a 4-year term, if you complete it, not like Nixon, unfortunately, not like Kennedy, who was assassinated, and Lincoln and whoever, right? But you get the sum of $1 million at the end of your tenure. Obviously, you've got the perks like Air Force One and the Secret Service and the White House, culinary staff at your beck and call. But I heard some of it you have to pay for. Don't know if that's true or not. And then at the end, you get a presidential library in wherever you choose, right? And that is both governmental, right, federal law, but also privately held funds. So you can donate to your favorite president's library or make a super PAC. I don't know, right? So now former President Trump is now accepting money where he didn't from the U.S. government. Oh, and also you get a house, which, for the best I know, former President Trump declined because he's, as best I know, camped out at Mar-a-Lago in Florida. And he's got properties all over the world, which I don't know if it's licensed or in his private portfolio. I don't know. I don't claim to know. Bernie's got some shit. Bernie Sanders he's a millionaire. Nancy Pelosi's a millionaire. Chuck Schumer is a millionaire. Fucking, Newt Gingrich is a millionaire. Mitch McConnell's a millionaire. All millionaires, man. So, it's that George Carlin bit. It's all an exclusive club, and you ain't invited. That's what it is. They get in there, they vote, and they fucking glad hand, kiss babies, and all that shit. And when they get in there, I don't know if it's something that they see or if it's just somebody has a conversation. But all the shit that they said on the campaign trail ends up being a farce. No matter what party you believe in. Hell, we used to have three major parties: Democrat, Republican, and the Whig Party. What happened to the Whig Party? Every other civilized country in the world has more than two parties. England, Mexico, Canada, like Fiji, Barbados. Like, but again, don't know shit. Don't know shit. Right? And also, yeah, so here we go again. So blocked. Yeah. And yeah, it's hard to block and also fucking run a show. I don't know.
Hey, I think you guys should have a sit down.
Yeah, so there it is. And then Takeo Powell says, hell yeah, you need to follow Voodoo. I don't know who wouldn't follow him. I follow him all the time. Hell, I work with him too. Hell yes. Right? And Fight Life Nation says, so the idea that he didn't make money being president is silly. He turned down $1 million salary, but charged the U.S. government for everyone to stay at his hotels. He is a businessman. 1,000%. 1,000%. And it's the same thing that Vince McMahon does. It's the same thing that Dana White does. It's the same thing that, who's it? The Goodell, whatever of the NFL. The fucking Silver, I guess, from the NBA, the NHL. Much like religious organizations, right? All these major organizations of sporting events,
right?
Non-profit, NFL, NBA, NHL, NASCAR.
Yeah.
I don't know if the UFC is, because if you notice, since they went public, you remember how Dana used to sit in the scrum after the fights and just sit and talk about the numbers, who made what night, give private bonuses. Supposedly it's something that he still does, but he doesn't do it anymore. Look, Conor McGregor, this is fact, was angling for ownership stake in the UFC.
Right, I remember that.
And I don't know, I can't remember the time placement of it, but it was during the time either UFC was in talks with WME Endeavor or not. Then UFC gets bought out around UFC 200 with that horrible piss yellow fucking, tarp where, Brock Lesnar comes out looking like fucking Goro from Mortal Kombat. You got Amanda Nunes choking out Misha Tate. I think it was that. Was that Anderson Silva
before the choke out?
Was that Anderson Silva?
Daniel
and
Cormier. Daniel Cormier.
Yeah, on 2 days' notice because John just failed test. I don't know, man. So that's it.
Yeah, he got Anderson got a few mil for that.
And Fight Life Nation says, yeah, not getting political either. That's just smart. Yeah, fucking L. Ron Hubbard, right?
Yep.
Failed science fiction writer, possible actor, right? And then somebody got in his ear and was like, you should start a religion. He did. And that's how we got Scientology. I think on record, he has wrote more literature than any other deity alive. Because he would just write, scribble, write, make it into text. There's a lot of money behind it. And I hope I'm not speaking out of school. There's Going Clear. Listen to Leah Remini. Lord Prepon from That 70s Show just left. Right? Leah Remini was a fucking lifer. I kind of like Tom Cruise's movies. I definitely love a lot of fucking John Travolta movies. I like Kelly Preston.
I got Tom Cruise over John Travolta any day of the week, man. Tom Cruise puts in the work. Even till now, he's putting in the work. He must be 60 years old, putting in the work, man. The dude does his own stunts. You gotta respect that, man. You gotta respect that. He is on a whole nother level. He does. You cannot even compare him to John Travolta. John Travolta is like on a lower tier than Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is in a selective few. He's something special. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And he's been
Hell,
successful since the teens.
hell, if I could bring up Kelly Preston, and she's been in
Okay.
a ton of movies, ton of
Mhm.
shows,
Mhm.
but to me, because it's one of my favorite groups and
Mhm.
one of my
Mhm.
favorite songs, but
Mhm.
she's in the video for Maroon 5's She Will Be Loved
Okay.
as the kind of discarded wife of a rich entrepreneur or whatever the fuck.
Right.
And Adam Levine comes in and saves her day. And Adam Levine is her daughter's boyfriend. And they find out at the end. It was like, it's a fucking 3-minute video, but I know the fucking storyline, and it went with the song, and it told a story in 3 fucking minutes. That's good storytelling by all parties involved. So shout out to Maroon 5, shout out to late great Kelly Preston,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
shout out to
Mhm.
all of the actors and the directors and the fucking lighting people, because it was impeccable. I encourage you to
Mhm.
go fucking watch it, right?
Mhm.
And then Fight Life Nation says Connor brought up Conan O'Brien and Mark Wahlberg have a cut, and he felt he deserved more than them. Also, Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and a
Mhm.
litany of others, right?
Mhm.
Now, I see that to say, right? Endeavor comes in, and then
Mhm.
obviously we all have this disastrous year, the past year of 2020, COVID,
Right.
right?
Right.
No fights, whatever. To Dana White's credit, no front office staff were fired, as best we know, right? Now, fighters
Mhm.
were cut, okay, but
Mhm.
no front office staff. Everybody kept their benefits, everybody kept working, all that shit, right?
Mhm.
And because it touched me so deeply, Susie, the makeup artist for the
Yeah.
UFC,
Yeah.
who is battling cancer,
Mhm.
unfortunately this morning succumbed
Mhm.
to her cancer.
Mhm.
Heaven gained an angel because from everyone, Ashley Evan Smith, Terry on Flash Ware, Jason House's wife, like
Mhm.
people that I know personally, that I've seen ups and downs with, and then just her
Mhm.
story of alone. She was
Mhm.
just a bright light. Every
Yeah.
picture, everything. People are calling her their road mom because she would
Mhm.
take care of them if they're in a strange place. And she's gone.
Mhm.
Now, was she on the UFC payroll at the end? Probably not.
Mhm.
Okay. So I say that to say, right? Disastrous year 2020 happens,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
July 2020 is when UFC starts up again. First
Mhm.
at Visar Arena in, I think, Fort Lauderdale,
Mhm.
then Fight Island,
Mhm.
right? Then the Performance Institute. I can't remember the order, right?
Mhm.
But you got to remember when UFC signed with ESPN, it
Mhm.
was reported, I don't know how true this is, but the UFC would get the equivalent of 250,000 pay-per-view eyes every time they ran an event. Now I don't know if that holds true for fight nights,
Mhm.
right? But definitely the pay-per-views. So much so
Mhm.
that the UFC was just like, no, not are we going to do a half fucking deal with you guys? You guys are great because Dana, that's all he wanted. Just like Vince McMahon before him, all he wanted was a big fucking American car company to get behind him.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right? Same
Mhm.
thing. And to go public. Right? Okay. So fast forward, Connor angles money. And he is, without question, the highest grossing like star that MMA
Mhm.
has ever created.
Right.
Okay,
True.
two-time Cage Warriors champ, beat a
Mhm.
whole shit ton of people. Jose Aldo, fucking like just it's a legendary fucking career, right?
Mhm.
Two
Mhm.
UFC titles, beating
Mhm.
Eddie Alvarez and Jose Aldo, two of the all-time greats. You know,
Mhm.
so that's that's it. So what does the UFC do? And Endeavor, on the
Mhm.
strength of 2020 alone, where no movies were being made, where no
Mhm.
actors were being paid, they go public in early 2021, mid to I think over the summer, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
They go they go public,
Mhm.
and again, Connor got nothing, Brock
Mhm.
got nothing, Chuck Liddell got nothing, Tito Ortiz got nothing, right? Ronda got nothing,
Mhm.
but Conan O'Brien, as best I know, Mark Wahlberg, as best I know, Anthony Kiedis, and I think Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
cool. I guess it makes sense, right? And Fight Light Nation, I heard about that. I don't know much about it, but I've heard that I would like to know more about it. 100%. And Takei is tapping out. He's like, "It's been real. I'm so proud of you, Voodoo. I need to go to these fights. I need to. He needs to teach me some moves. Have a good night, guys. Takea, love you, bro. Thank you for joining in. And Fight Life Nation says, I have a question for both of you. What is the options on fighter play? Dana
Uh-huh.
seems to feel fighters sign and they must on or the contracts. Fighters feel they gain more value and deserve
Mhm.
more.
Mhm.
So, Voodoo, do you mind if I take
Go
one
ahead.
bit?
Go
Okay.
ahead.
So, yes, fighters do deserve more. What that more is, I have no fucking idea. Because John Jones says he wants fucking boxing money. Anthony Joshua, the other guy that I forgot, not
Mhm.
Terrence Crawford. Fuck, I can't remember. Too many shit. Right. So Connor decides he wants a portion of the company. Right. Don't know. Right. But here's the
Mhm.
thing. So the UFC, without fail, to put on fights. I think since July of 2020, when they ramped
Mhm.
up at
Mhm.
ViStar,
Mhm.
I think they've only missed an accumulative of for 3 to 6 weeks of fights.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
this obviously this weekend being one of them, right? So, and if you put the money together,
Mhm.
250,000 pay-per-view buys
Mhm. Mhm.
at what, 50 to $100 a pop,
Mhm.
and then whatever you pay for your pay-per-view on top of that, whatever you
Right.
pay for your ESPN Plus on
Mhm.
top of that,
Mhm.
whatever you
Mhm.
pay for your UFC Fight Pass on
Mhm.
top of that,
Mhm.
and that's just in
True.
North America.
Yep.
We're not talking about Sky over in England or
Mhm.
Sky down in Brazil
Mhm. Mhm.
or whatever carriers that they have across the world. United Arab Emirates, Jamaica, Barbados, Fiji,
Right.
Nigeria, all
Right. Right.
across Africa, because
Right.
EFFC in Africa is shown across the world,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So
Power
that's
of the
not
internet.
counting any of that, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So, um, so yeah, and then every time that they do a fight, remember Joaquin Buckley,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Remember, fuck, the guy that up kicked fucking Jacare, up punched Kevin Holland,
Holland. Holland.
Holland, right?
Mhm.
Do we remember that?
Mhm.
You know why? Because the next week you've been conditioned. Next Saturday, fights.
Mhm.
ESPN fights.
That's right.
ESPN fights.
That's
Knockout,
right.
submission, fights.
Mhm.
Knockout, submission, fights. entertaining, boring fights. I might skip this one. Fights. Fights, 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 fights,
No.
fights, fights, fights. So with
Hey,
all of this happening,
Christos Yagos is fighting.
well, look, but here's the thing. With all that happening, there's an oversaturation. Now it's good for us fight fans, but it
Right.
leaves you no leverage as a fighter
Right.
because a new star is born every fucking weekend.
Every day. Yep. That's true.
Every fucking weekend.
That's true.
From Idaho to fucking Maine to here in California to Africa to Nigeria to fucking Canada. There's top tier talent everywhere. There's no such thing as just the Jackson Winks or the Nova Meow or the fucking Shoot Box.
Right.
There's elite gyms all over the place.
All over.
I do believe when I see on social media, oh, room full of killers. At every fucking gym, every corner of the world, I believe you guys and girls and kids transgenders. You know, male to female transgenders out in Thailand with like fucking 300 wins against men. Like fully transition.
That's respectable.
Atomically transition.
It's respectable.
And got 300 wins against what you're biologically.
This is not about your preference. This is about combat. Are you willing to step in there against equivalent opposition? If you are willing to, then you will be given your respect. Where I draw the line is going in there against a female born opposition. Then I have an issue because bone density is a factor. Muscular advantage is a factor. So if this person chooses to go in there against another man, no problem. Let's go. Let's go. I am all for it. And 300 wins, that's fantastic. I'm into the warrior within. That's my only thing that I care about when it comes to combat sport. As you can see, every time we talk about this, I am seeking that ultimate weapon. That one individual that's able to put every aspect of combat together and become efficient with it. And wherever the fight goes is where they can finish it. This is the person that I'm looking for. This is why I never give Khabib the whatever that he is asking for. He is dominant wrestler. Yes. I am not taking that away. What I'm saying is I want someone who can use their hands as good as Khabib uses his wrestling, who can use their feet as good as Khabib uses his wrestling, who can grapple as good as Khabib grapples. Now, it doesn't even have to be that as good as Khabib, but at a high level, right? And can execute with any technique. This is the essence of free flow. This is the person that I'm looking for. And we are seeing flashes of this greatness in these new young comers at like Raw Dog. He is something special. He is right now, that fire is very powerful that's in Raw Dog. It burns really, really hot. When he learns to contain it and shape it like Tai Chi, when he learns to shape it and move that fire, people are going to be in trouble, man. He's been in there with the current champion. And the only reason he lost that match was because he dislocated his shoulder. This kid is going to be great. Great. I see something great in him. He just has to control that fire. But all in all, man, the ultimate technique, expression of the human body, this is the only way we're going to get that.
Yeah. So I'll do you one better. But before we're going to answer some questions, I thought Tom Cruise, that's how he does his own stunts. Just joking. I don't know about all that, but I know he's got this one unitooth, like right in the middle. And now he has the perfect fucking smile.
Yeah, he shifted his face over.
Yeah. This is... Yeah, I don't... Hey, but if you're Tom Cruise, go for it, right? And Fight Life Nation says, it reminds me of NFL contracts. You sign for X, the team can cut you at any time, but you're a bad person for wanting a race. That's the NBA. That's the NHL. That's NASCAR.
Hey,
You
hey,
get
look,
what they
look.
take. Fuck, the NCAA for how
Mm-hmm,
many years was able to fucking leverage scholarships,
mm-hmm,
athletic, academic scholarships
mm-hmm,
from the millions upon millions, if not billions, billions,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
each privately funded school
mm-hmm,
had
mm-hmm.
based on the efforts of their lacrosse team, their
Right,
football team, their
right.
hockey team, their
Mm-hmm,
polo team, their football team, whatever
mm-hmm.
the fuck,
Right.
losing,
Yeah.
right? And
Right.
guess what? All of the fucking player, but
Mm-hmm.
student athletes got screwed because their
Right.
numbers were being sold
Right.
in
That's
the
true.
fucking inside the damn concourse of the of the arenas, right?
Right.
In
Mm-hmm.
the fucking student lounges, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
50, $60 a pop
Right.
or whatever the
Yeah.
fucking you know the time. If it's 1960, $25. If it's
Okay.
big fucking
Mm-hmm.
ticket prices,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
with the promise of the athlete that hey, you get a free education, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
But most of the fucking tutors will say when they're signing the athletes are signing their contract, they don't even know how to spell their fucking names. So what
And
good is that?
that is your problem.
Mm?
That is your problem. You can hey, look. This is a capitalistic society. Uh, this is the way. This is the American way. Hey, what's mine is mine. What's yours is mine. It is what it is. You said Donald Trump. He didn't take a penny.
Mm?
It is what it is. I'm sure he took a pay cut. He shifted money somehow. A man like that, man, he doesn't waste money. You know what I mean? He didn't take that money. I'm sure he did something in taxes that was equivalent to the amount. Whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? But the bottom line here is, what am I saying? What were we just talking
Yeah.
about? What were we just talking about? What were we talking about? Before I brought in Donald Trump, what were you just talking about? You don't know what you were just talking about?
Oh, I don't know. Well, before that, Nick
Right.
Morganson, who's a tremendous fucking producer, who might be producing a show with me and Thomas Albano called A Writer in the Woods, whose
Oh, okay.
Twitter account that was just created right before COVID, my COVID, right, was followed by none other than John
Mm,
Cena.
mm.
Oh shit! So that's coming. So Nick Morganson says MLB, Major League Baseball, is the only sport where contracts are completely guaranteed. Which
And why is that?
you might, yeah.
I want to know why that is. Do you know why that is?
Well, first off, the MLB has the players union, and I remember the
Okay.
strike that happened in the '90s, early '90s, right? And also as kind of like an addendum to the strike to get people back into the fucking um you know because people were hardline against there were a lot of union jobs in the '90s
Mm-hmm.
as a kind of kind of a like a vestige of the 1970s and '80s and '60s where there would be unions and car factories and all that whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So everybody's union town. One of the reasons why UFC and MMA as a whole didn't fucking get to New York for so long. These fucking garbage smoker shows where people literally died because there was
Mm,
no regulation
mm,
for like almost 2 decades.
mm-hmm.
It's because the Fertitas, Lorenzo and Frank, who owned Zuffa, the
Mm-hmm.
parent company of the UFC, owned the largest not union casinos and hotels in the world. New York, like most of the East Coast,
Mm-hmm.
like most of the Midwest, strong union town. To which
Mm-hmm.
Nick Morganson says the MLB, the Major League Baseball Players Association, is the strongest union in all professional sports. No, and again, you're the mainstream sports guy. You know better than I, right? So I take your word. Fucking, I swear on that. When you're talking in that realm, Nick Morganson, you're one of the best, right? So also in pro wrestling, which I kind of know, a lot of people hated on guys like Lex Luger or the Road Warriors who wanted guaranteed contracts.
Right.
Vern Gagne damn near kicked Hulk Hogan out of the AWA because he was selling his own merchandise, Hulkamania shirts, when it was still blue and white, blue with the white lettering, right? Vince McMahon Sr., the father to the current day Vince McMahon, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, the son of Jess McMahon, who is a longtime boxing and wrestling promoter in the old Madison Square Garden that burned down.
Yeah.
Right? Vince McMahon Sr. didn't want Hulk Hogan around because he took Rocky III, as did Vern Gagne. And Hogan as Thunder Lips against Rocky with none other than Marty fucking Denkin. Yes, Dave and Jackie Denkin, if you're here in California and you know California State Athletic Commission or California Amateur Mixed Martial Arts Organization, they are combat sports royalty. Those three, Marty Denkin, the son David, the daughter Jackie, royalty. There was a time where I think it was Jerry Brown could only afford one member of the California State Athletic Commission. That member was Marty fucking Denkin. Okay? Marty Denkin was the referee in Rocky III with Hogan and Sylvester Stallone. Hogan as Thunder Lips with an exhibition fight. And again, in wrestling speak, well, Rocky was fighting Clubber Lang, played by Mr. T. What does Mr. T and Hogan do in 1985? Oh, WrestleMania 1. Okay? It all is relative. Movies, pro wrestling, combat sports, it's all relative. Okay? So say that to say, one last round. If you're a fighter and you want your voice heard, rather than buying fancy cars, and I know it's an athlete's mentality to live above their means, right? And it might be the CTE that they get from playing, right? Erratic behavior. Fuck, COVID got me. I just spent like $400 over the last weekend on tickets to shows I'm probably not going to go to, on fucking apparel that I might not be able to wear because I'm not going anywhere. That's going to sit in my closet like the 250 other t-shirts that I have. Shout out to Marky, boxing and fitness, And I treasure all of them. I treasure everything that I have, especially now, right? But if you really wanted your voice to make a fucking difference, you would take some of that money that you got on a Saturday night UFC fight, whether you're a lower tier fucking fighter or in the main event. Monday, you set up a Charles Schwab, Robinhood, Webull account. Fuck, I'll tweet my fucking referral links. You get a free share, I get a free share. You get free crypto, I get free crypto. Coinbase literally gives you, for answering tests that they give you the answer for, a couple dollars, $3 here, $4 here in crypto. It might not be the ones you're familiar with, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, but they are.
Yeah.
And you can just watch that. I had my fucking Robinhood for 2 years with one share of Zynga. I think they created Farmville. Watch it go up and down and up and down. One share of AT&T, up and down and up and down. And then pandemic hit. I couldn't work. I dropped some serious cash.
Mm.
I'm sitting on probably my best year in 2019
Mm-hmm.
worth of assets. At least
Mm.
half that. And we're August or September. September.
Mm.
So a lot of things could happen, you know? And and Takeo Powell says, haha, that's funny that you said Tom Cruise got his teeth fixed, which he did, but that's funny. Have a good night, guys. So,
Mm.
Voodoo,
Yes.
like I said, invest that money and take
Mm-hmm.
that into fucking Endeavor
Mm-hmm.
stock.
You're absolutely right, man.
They have to listen to you. If you're a future Endeavor wrestler of the
Mm-hmm.
WWE, they're
Mm-hmm.
publicly traded stock.
Mm.
Buy it. They got to listen to you. And these are stock moves that people like these big portfolio people, when you put in your 401k, there's some WWE stock, there's some Tesla stock, there's some Robinhood stock, there's some
Mm.
Coinbase stock, there's some Clorox, whatever their parent company is, Procter and Gamble
Mm.
stock, there's
Mm.
some Microsoft stock, all built up in a portfolio so
Mm-hmm.
you can live after your fucking working career is over.
Right, right, right.
So why
Yeah.
not just buy the fucking stock yourself
Mm-hmm.
rather than have somebody do it in an ETF, which is a
Mm-hmm.
combined whatever. Now, if you're
Mm-hmm.
scared in doing the fucking EV market and buying a share of Neo, buying a share of
Mm-hmm.
Tesla, buying a
Mm-hmm.
share of the charging cable stations,
Mm-hmm.
all of which I'm invested in, total disclosure,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? You can't rob me because
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the fucking physical money
Mm-hmm.
sitting in
Mm-hmm.
wrapped up in accounts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And until I take it out,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not taxed.
And you're collecting more interest than the bank.
Yeah. So I'm not fucking taking much out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And even the losses that I take during the year, if the fucking stock goes down,
Mm-hmm.
the tax fucking broker immediately writes that shit off
Mm.
as a business expense. At least for the last 2 years, that's been the case with me personally.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I'm getting fucking rebates back from the IRS of shit that was missed by the tax preparer. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So do some shit. Hit me up
Mm-hmm.
on all of my social medias. I will show you exactly the fucking videos that I'm watching on YouTube.
Nice.
The people
Nice.
that I'm going to, the fucking accounts, not what's in the account,
Mm-hmm.
but I total disclosure, I've got an Acorns retirement account
Mm-hmm.
because I've cashed in all of my other accounts from when I worked.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Mm-hmm.
got a Coinbase crypto account with
Right.
various cryptos in that portfolio. I've
Right.
got a coin market cap that isn't very big,
Mm-hmm.
but various portfolio that I, various crypto that I can't get on Coinbase.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a Robinhood account and I've got a
Mm-hmm.
Webull account,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if you're
Mm-hmm.
too scared to do that, if you got Venmo, if you got Cash App, guess what? You can buy fractions of stock.
Mm.
You can buy fractions of crypto. Certain ones, not all of them, certain
Mm.
ones. Same thing with Webull and Robinhood. I bought
Mm.
fractions of a stock when I couldn't afford it.
Mm.
The big one that I want is Berkshire Hathaway Class A stock, which I think fluctuates between 250,000 for one share to 450,000.
I
That's
have a question.
Warren Buffett's fucking company that has
I
Dairy Queen, that has Berkshire Hathaway, the fucking realty company,
mm-hmm.
commercial and residential, all over the
Mm-hmm.
world, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's some Clorox, there's some Procter Gamble, there's so
Mm-hmm.
many shit that's just it's its own ETF wrapped up in a stock
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, the fucking oracles of Omaha,
Mm-hmm.
they've been doing this for fucking 70 years.
Mm-hmm.
And if the market is up, fucking Warren Buffett, the billionaire that he is, gets a egg McMuffin with cheese.
Wow.
If the market is down, doesn't get anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's a savant.
Mm-hmm.
Does he know how to live by himself? He has everything done for him.
Mm-hmm.
He drives himself, right? But
Mm-hmm.
not much else. He just goes and invests. He knows numbers. Charlie Munger knows numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And for the time that they're still here, kind of listen to them. Now, yes, they said fucking cryptos and ETFs are full of shit. But there was a time where a generation of his said fucking stocks are full of shit. Eric Bischoff of WCW just said that when somebody asked him in a fucking chat on YouTube that I might have contributed to the super chat because I wanted to get a message out. 3 of my friends are on the podcast and fucking Bischoff, right? And somebody asked him about AMC and Dogecoin and all that shit. And he's just like, I don't play any of that. Oh no, it was AMC and GameStop.
Okay.
Right? The fucking stunk memes, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
And he was like, I don't play any of that. Because if this shit works, this proves my point that this shit is manipulated. It goes up and down at any time. You can win it, you could lose it. What was the fucking Kenny Rogers gambler thing? Know
You
when to
gotta
hold them.
know when to hold
Know when to fold them.
Know when to
Right?
fold them.
Yeah.
Know when
So
to walk
that's
away.
that. But for me, it's a learning experience. You had that Dogecoin millionaire guy that put literally 6 figures of, he sold all of his stocks, all of his other crypto, a lot of his assets, taking out loans and everything, and he put it all on Dogecoin. He became a millionaire for about 14 days. Now he's probably about even. Maybe not, maybe so. Because that time when Elon Musk was on fucking SNL, it went to 70 cents. This is a cryptocurrency that 2 years ago wasn't even a fraction of a penny. I had some and I sold some. And I bought some Neo. I bought some WWE. Whatever. I've got some, you know.
How's that WWE looking though?
So can't complain. So
how's that WWE looking?
Huh?
How's that WWE looking?
Yeah, hell yes, I'll send you the videos. I'll send everyone the videos. I post it on Twitter all the time. I try to post it on fucking Facebook, whatever. But I also don't want my pages fucking, you know, blocked and canceled and shit like that, right? But I love you guys. I love you, Voodoo. I love talking all of this shit with you. And that's the reason why I'm fighting. I'm in between breaths. NyQuil up and down, up and down, up and down. I don't know, right? But I'm here with you guys. So if you like fucking people get fucked up and some knowledge and some heartfelt shit, whatever, you can follow me at According to Woods. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, right? Twitter, right? And you can follow him on Facebook page, Instagram page, YouTube, and Twitter at Voodoo Maximus. And we're Voodoo in the Woods, bringing you this shit and talking this shit so you don't have to. But you can talk shit with us. You can fucking theorize with us like you have done, you beautiful people. Be beautiful. Be good. Fuck yeah. We out. Oh yeah, I run the banner. I forgot how to do this.